The morning sun poured gently over the towering skyscrapers, painting the city in a warm golden hue. The sky was a brilliant blue, dotted with soft white clouds, as if the day itself promised something extraordinary. The glass buildings reflected the light like mirrors, standing tall and elegant, a perfect stage for the unfolding story. A sleek black luxury car glided smoothly along the sunlit road, its polished surface gleaming. The license plate flashed under the sunlight as it passed through the heart of the city. Tall buildings framed the streets, and fresh green trees lined the sidewalks, blending modernity with nature. This was no ordinary drive. It felt like the beginning of an important night. Inside the car, the atmosphere was charged with a subtle tension. In the front seat, the driver remained silent and focused, his face expressionless. In the back, a girl with pink hair sat quietly, her eyes slightly widened in surprise. Didn't expect that Bei Ming Ye could actively invite Tang Feifei to D1, so tonight I don't need to, she thought, a mix of confusion and unease stirring within her. Meanwhile, Tang Feifei, in a delicate blue dress, leaned closer to the man sitting beside her, Bei Ming Ye. His sharp suit and composed expression made him appear unshakable. Without warning, Tang Feifei leaned in, her lips brushing his cheek in a sudden, daring move. The caption echoed softly in the air. Sneaky kiss. Her cheeks flushed pink with a mixture of excitement and mischief, while his expression remained calm, his eyes fixed ahead, hiding whatever emotions lay beneath the surface. She then looked at him with sparkling eyes, clutching his arm gently. "Mr. Beiming, can I call you Ye?" she asked in a sweet, almost playful tone. The confidence in her voice contrasted with the subtle vulnerability in her gaze, as if the small request could bring her closer to him. Across from them, the pink-haired girl watched silently, her hands gripping her seatbelt as Tang Feifei nestled against Bei Ming Ye's arm. "Look." The single word hovered in the air, capturing the quiet moment of observation. Bei Ming Ye sat tall and composed, as if entirely accustomed to such attention. A small, knowing smile tugged at the corner of Bei Ming Ye's lips. It wasn't a smile of warmth, but one of quiet amusement, mysterious perhaps, even a little dangerous. His eyes glinted, revealing nothing and everything at once. The car came to a stop in front of a modern, glass-fronted cafe. The outdoor seating was bathed in the soft shade of leafy trees, the golden sunlight filtering through. Two men were already seated at a table, their figures calm and composed, as if waiting for the next chapter to begin. Elsewhere, voices floated like whispers. "Maybe you were mistaken. Ye is the same as before. He's never been honest with women." So the girls were brought to Diwan. Would that be different? The words hung in the air like a quiet warning, one that could change everything. Inside the cafe, two men sat across from each other, sipping their coffee. One of them spoke with a calm, almost cynical tone. "The girls beside him are all the same, nothing else." It was a truth wrapped in sharp edges, a glimpse into the world behind Bei Ming Ye's composed smile. In the quiet cafe, one of the silver-haired men lifted his cup of tea to his lips, a faint smile curving on his face. His voice, calm but sharp, broke the stillness. "But the person sitting in the front is very different." There was something knowing in his tone, as if he had noticed a detail no one else had. His gaze was steady, hinting at a secret he wasn't yet ready to reveal. The sun began to sink beneath the horizon, its golden rays stretching across the sky. The clouds glowed in warm shades of orange and pink, soft and almost dreamlike. It was a sunset that signaled the end of one chapter and the quiet beginning of another. Nestled between rolling hills, a grand modern villa stood bathed in the last light of the setting sun. The golden glow wrapped around the house like a gentle embrace, casting long shadows and highlighting the sleek, elegant architecture. The place radiated wealth in silence, an isolated world of its own. As the sunlight deepened, the villa's grand terrace came into view. Elegant tables and chairs were arranged perfectly, as if awaiting important guests. The warm lights from the villa illuminated the patio softly, blending seamlessly with the natural beauty around it. Everything about this place spoke of exclusivity and quiet power. Inside the villa, a lavish dinner table was set with a feast of delicately arranged dishes. At the head of the table sat Bei Mingyi, his posture composed and commanding. His expression was unreadable, but the air around him felt heavy with control. Behind him stood the silent driver, ever the shadow in his world. On the opposite side, the pink-haired girl entered the room timidly, her steps light but uncertain as she faced the man who held all the power here.
Tang Feisei was already seated gracefully, her lips curled in a small, self-satisfied smile. The pink-haired girl froze at the sight, startled by the ease and boldness with which the other woman had taken the seat. Occupy seats. The words echoed mockingly in the room. Her heart clenched slightly. She hadn't expected this brazenness. A swirl of emotions crossed the pink-haired girl's face, confusion, shock, and a touch of disbelief. How could she occupy the seat so openly, she thought, her eyes wide and shimmering with uncertainty, fixed on the other woman. In this elegant dining room, she suddenly felt out of place. Before she could gather herself, Bei Mingye's voice rang out, cool and unyielding. "Who allows you there? Come to stand here." He didn't shout. He didn't need to. His presence alone was enough to make the air feel heavier. The red-haired woman sat unfazed, while the pink-haired girl stiffened under his commanding tone. His sharp gaze settled on her, his thoughts as cold as the evening outside. This girl, she doesn't know how to care about her position. If so, just stand there. His words, though unspoken, carried weight. There was no room for mistakes in his world, not from her. Her hands trembled slightly, but she forced a polite smile as she stepped forward, lowering her head. "Sir, let me help you pour the soup," she said softly, trying to bridge the distance between their worlds. His lips curved faintly at her gesture, not with warmth, but with quiet amusement, as if testing how far she would go to please him. The girl's hands trembled slightly as she leaned forward, carefully pouring the hot soup into the porcelain bowl before him. Her movements were delicate, almost reverent, as if each gesture carried the weight of unspoken expectations. He sat in silence, his black suit sharp against the warm tones of the dining room. Though his expression revealed little, the air between them felt taut, charged with unspoken power and tension. The red-haired woman's lips curved into a bright, self-assured smile as she leaned toward Bei Mingye. "Yeah, taste it," she said cheerfully, her voice ringing lightly through the air. She pushed the bowl of soup toward him with practiced ease, claiming his attention with the confidence of someone who knew her place. Across the table, the pink-haired girl lowered her gaze, the faint sting of being overshadowed blooming quietly in her chest. Bei Mingye's eyes narrowed, his face hardening into a mask of icy authority. "Meng Qi?" he called out coldly, his voice slicing through the warm air of the dining room. Even without raising his tone, the weight of his displeasure was unmistakable. The warmth from a moment ago vanished, replaced by an unsettling chill that silenced the room. A well-dressed butler stepped forward swiftly, his voice calm but firm. "Where's the maid? Change another pair of chopsticks for Mr. Bei Ming," he commanded. It wasn't just about etiquette. It was a statement of hierarchy. The pink-haired girl stiffened slightly, realizing how carefully every line was drawn in this house and how easily someone could be reminded of their place. The butler then turned toward the red-haired woman,
gesturing toward another chair. "Lady, your seat is here," he said with polite insistence. But she tilted her head, her lips curving into a shy but stubborn smile. "This seat is good too," she murmured softly. Her tone carried a touch of defiance, wrapped in sweetness, as though testing just how far she could bend the rules without consequence. A sly smile curled on the red-haired woman's lips, her eyes glinting with arrogance. In her mind, she was already the future lady of the Bei Ming family, someone untouchable. "A servant who dares to treat me like that?" she thought with disdain. "Doesn't he fear the punishment of the future mistress of this house?" The confidence in her tone was chilling, as if she already owned everything in sight. Across the room, Tang Fei brought her fingers to her lips, failing to hold back a small laugh. The scene amused her more than it should have. She hadn't expected anyone to openly oppose Bei Mingye's orders. It was something few dared to do. Maybe he's surprised too, she thought, eyes glimmering with the mix of boldness and quiet mockery. Her expression was playful, but her heart beat fast beneath the calm exterior. Bei Mingye's sharp eyes shifted toward her, his gaze lingering on her slender figure as she stood there in that simple blue dress. His jaw tightened, ever so slightly. There was something in her defiance that unsettled the usual order, something that stirred the air between them. Without warning, his hand shot out and closed firmly around her wrist. The grip was strong but not cruel. Enough to catch her off guard, enough to make her freeze. The world around them seemed to pause for a heartbeat, the tension between them winding tighter like a drawn bowstring. Her eyes widened as she stumbled closer to him, shock flashing across her face. "What are you doing?" she demanded, her voice trembling slightly, not with fear, but with confusion and rising emotion. He didn't look away. Instead, a faint, unreadable smile tugged at the corners of his lips, as if he alone knew where this moment was headed. And then, almost effortlessly, he pulled her into his lap, his arm wrapped securely around her waist, holding her as if he decided something she hadn't been given the chance to refuse. Her breath hitched, and the warmth of his body pressed against hers was undeniable. Her heart pounded wildly as she stared up at him, unsure if she should push him away or listen to the strange fluttering in her chest. The distance between them had vanished, both physically and dangerously so.